Welcome to the Pelican Brief with your host, David Tapp.
Welcome to the Pelican Brief. I am your host, David Tatman. In this episode, we will highlight the just completed week 6 of the 2023 regular session of the Louisiana Legislature and preview what is ahead in week 7. So we roughly have about 3 weeks remaining in the 2023 regular session. Actually, of 24 days, if you're counting from right now. Last week, the pace was insane. And it likely will be the busiest week of the session, although I think week 7 will give it a run for its money with one less committee meeting than they had last week, but they haven't scheduled Senate insurance yet, so it'll be about the same pace, although there are fewer instruments in each bill. But because of where we are in the process, most of the bills that have survived thus far are a little more controversial. So you'll see some long committee meetings, and certainly you'll see elements reflective of longer floor debates. So let's talk. We've been talking about insurance for most of the session. You know, we have a property insurance crisis in the state of Louisiana, and so there are a number of instruments in the process that are moving along that are designed to help bring markets back to Louisiana. So on the insurance front, we will again mention House Bill 110 by Gabe Furman, which would require insurers to offer a fortified roof endorsement when their home is upgraded from a non-fortified roof home. That bill is on the Senate floor. It is expected to pass and go to the governor. If it doesn't take any amendments, it will go to the governor for action. So staying on the insurance topic, there's also House Bill 183 by Representative Gabe Furman, again, from Pollock, Louisiana. It has to do with assignment of benefits. This was something that was pretty significant in the Florida market that Governor DeSantis and the legislature recently addressed. But this is a big issue in our state, and this will go a long way toward improving Louisiana's insurance market. This legislation will likely be on the Senate Insurance Committee agenda this upcoming week. So again, staying on insurance, House Bill 298 by Representative Matthew Willard out of New Orleans would require insurers to offer an actuarially justified discount for building or retrofitting a fortified roof. This bill's passed the process and actually has been what we call enrolled. So this means that the bill now goes to the governor for action. Very likely the governor will sign this bill into law. Also on the agenda, House Bill 49 by Representative Huval from Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, provides for a more open insurance market rating system. It eliminates the prior approval portion of the rate-making law currently and allows companies the ability to set their rates based on actuarial standards. The bill was hotly debated on the House floor. In fact, Louisiana Insurance Commissioner Jim Donnellan has been fighting this legislation throughout the process. The legislation passed the House floor on Thursday after a lengthy debate. Interestingly enough, it passed with only 56 votes. It needed 53. But by the time that bill came up on the House floor on Thursday, 26 representatives were not present. 23 voted against it. So this is a bill that I think has broad-based support in the legislature. So more to come on insurance. It's something that affects all of us in our everyday life. But let's talk about some of the high-profile issues that are being debated in Louisiana legislature. So a bill filed after the death of LSU student Madison Brooks that would have banned underage people under the age of 21 from entering a bar in Louisiana was heavily amended in the face of stiff resistance. The bill, Senate Bill 194 by Senator Beth Mizell, a Republican from Franklinton, was approved by the Senate Judiciary B Committee on Tuesday, but only after significant amendments that removed the language that actually bans the 18 to 20-year-olds being in bars. Those changes turn this bill and make it more focused on penalties for bars, violating liquor laws, and making it easier for people hurt by underage drinking to sue bar owners. But a lot of people express concerns about the 18 to 20-year-olds being banned from bars because, well, first off, there are a lot of people who work in bars who are 18 to 20 years old. I know that when I was in college, I worked in a bar from the time I was 18 till I was about 22. And so the whole employment thing is a big issue. And then there are some others that are concerned that if you ban 18 to 20-year-olds from bars, there are going to be more underground parties without supervision, and that may actually end up creating more problems. Don't know, don't really have a position on it, but the bill right now is really about tougher penalties. It increases the consequences for bar owners and employees. They could, if they serve an underage person, fines would be increased. And again, it would open the owners of the bar up for civil litigation. The right to action provisions in the bill take aim at Louisiana's what's called anti-dram shop laws. And this is the ability for individuals to sue bars when they drink too much at those establishments. So the vast majority of states have dram shop laws on the books, but it'll change the world because the reality of it is that bar owners are going to have to buy insurance for this. So it's going to kick up costs, and the causes of action will be about suing insurance companies. And so, there's a lot to this, a lot more than I think people realize. It's a tragic event, what happened. This is something that we'll keep an eye on, but it is definitely something that has been heavily in the news and will continue to be in the news. So let's move over to criminal justice. The Louisiana House on Thursday approved a bill to make some juvenile criminal records public, an effort that would apply to three of the state's most populous parishes and the three parishes with the highest crime rate. So House Bill 321 would make, this is by Debbie Villio from Metairie, would make some court records public for juveniles as young as 13 in Caddo, Orleans, in East Baton Rouge parishes in an effort to create what supporters call a pilot program that they say would later be followed by a statewide system, though it's unclear how the statewide system would work. The bill sponsor, Representative Villio, said the goal is to bring down crime in the parishes with the highest crime rates by offering more transparency. Her statement is this bill is about public safety and the public's right to know. It would require that those three localities, again, Orleans, East Baton Rouge, and Caddo Parish, would have to create a publicly available electronic database of entries from juvenile court hearings, among other records. The website would be linked to the website of the State Attorney General's office. Supporters of the legislation include Attorney General and gubernatorial candidate Jeff Landry. It accomplishes a host of things, but it also is part of a larger bill package to address crime issues in the state of Louisiana. We're going to watch this very closely. The bill passed relatively easily and now moves to the Senate for action. Another high-profile issue that was discussed last week and will continue to be discussions throughout the session is abortion. There were bills to tweak the Louisiana abortion ban bill, and the tweaks would be that there would be there was an effort to exempt rape and incest victims from the ban, and particularly child victims. So there was pretty contentious. Most Louisiana lawmakers oppose abortion. Edwards and other anti-abortion Democrats have long pushed for rape and incest exemptions to the state's ban, which took effect after the Supreme Court opened the door on the overturning or changing of Roe v. Wade last summer. So it's going to be that those bills failed. Right now, there are not any bills that are going to affect this, but keep the conversation open, because I think you'll see more in this before the session ends. Another major issue, and I say major, high-profile issue, is the issue of a bill dealing with pronouns. The Louisiana House of Representatives passed a hotly debated bill that would require public school employees to use the names and pronouns on a student's birth certificate unless parents provide written permission to do otherwise. In this bill, employees who disagree with using other pronouns because of religious or moral convictions would not be required to do so. The bill's sponsor is Representative Raymond Cruz from Bossier City. It passed the lower chamber with a pretty strong vote, 61 to 33, and it now moves next to the Senate. Cruz's bill is one of a number of measures under consideration in the legislature aimed at limiting the discussions of sexual gender and identity at schools. House Bill 81 was one of two approved by the House Education Committee in late April that drew objections from advocacy groups. And so there are some other bills, the Don't Say Gay bill, that is Dodie Horton's House Bill 466, and that bill is moving along in the process. And so we'll see how the pronoun bill moves. So on another front, House Bill, we'll move now to film. House Bill 562 by Speaker and Representative Schexnayder will likely be debated on the floor sometime later this week or early next week after passing the Senate and Revenue Fiscal Affairs Committee. The legislation took an amendment from Chairman Allen to shorten the sunset from the 10-year 2035 sunset extension that was originally in the bill to a 5-year extension to the year 2030. So that bill will likely be on the Senate floor very soon for action. There continues to be conversations about the spending cap, which I kind of brought up to you last week. There is pressure building on the legislature to approve. They have to, by resolution and a 2/3 vote, have to, in each body, approve busting the cap, as we call it, to spend the nearly $1.8 billion that we have in excess. So, but there's, a lot of conversations going on. The resolution, if it is passed, will be Senate Concurrent Resolution 3 by President Cortez from out of Lafayette, and that's what will lead the conversation. Again, conventional wisdom is the Senate will bust the cap. They will get the 2/3 necessary, but for now, the House is going to be a different story. So we move now to legislative pay raises. The House and Governmental Affairs Committee passed HB 149 by Joe Marino of Gretna. The bill, remember, was amended to lower the raise from $60,000 per year plus per diems to around $40,000 per year plus per diems, and that would be based. There would be some formula where it would be based on median family earnings in Louisiana. That legislation actually now moves to the Appropriations Committee because it has a fiscal note on it. And so it's not going to the House floor, but to the Appropriations Committee, and we will hear more about it this week. On a somber note, I would like to take a moment to recognize and memorialize my good friend, and really everybody's good friend, and longtime government relations professional Jim Harris. Jim Harris was an icon of lobbying in Louisiana. Jim was a veteran business lobbyist who got his start in Louisiana politics working for then Governor Edwin Edwards. He died a week ago after a long illness. He was 77 years old. He was diagnosed about a year ago with Lou Gehrig's disease, and was a tough fighter and never wanted to give up and always wanted to come to work. So he was always Jim. You knew Jim when you saw him at the Capitol because he always was dressed to the T's. He had an incredible voice. He worked for 40 years in a broad array of issues in the business community. He worked a lot in the petrochemical industry. He was genial with just about everyone while working with his firm, Harris DeVille. It's unbelievable what an impact this guy had on the lobbying corps, his honesty, his integrity, his professionalism was second to none. He started out as a radio talk show host with WJBO, for those of you who go back that far. Gus Weil, who was a legendary political operative, took notice of his work and hired him to be the press secretary for Edwards' reelection campaign in 1975. After Edwards won, Harris served as the governor's press secretary. He worked in economic development for Dave Treen before becoming a full-time lobbyist. He didn't have any enemies. He had a lot of friends, and he was one of those guys that, again, I could not go without saying his impact both to the legislative community and to me personally. I considered him to be a mentor. Jim leaves behind his two children and his wife, Linda. I know they are heartbroken, but Jim was the standard of what government relations professionals should be, simply the best. So rest in peace, Jim. Godspeed. Remember that you can watch all of the action at the Capitol live or through archived video proceedings on the state's website. That website, again, is www.legis.la.gov. You can also download the new app, which to me is a great way to follow everything on your phone. It's really designed and works really well on your phone. That app, if you go to your app store, is LALEGE. That's LALEGE, LALEGE. They're both fantastic resources. Louisiana has the best resources when it comes to following along with what's going on in the Louisiana State Capitol and in the legislative process. So we are the Pelican Brief. You can follow us on social media, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Our social media handle on all platforms is at Pelican Brief 225. That's at Pelican Brief 225. If you're listening to us but would prefer to watch us, you can watch us on YouTube at our channel. It is at The Pelican Brief 225. You can also follow us on all of your favorite podcasting platforms. Please subscribe to our show. Please subscribe with our friends. Remember, if you have any issues that you would like to take a deeper dive into, or if you want us to, just let us know. You can post it on our feeds or email the show at thepelicanbrief225@gmail.com. We're really excited because on Wednesday of this week, we will release our most recent episode with our guest, John Cuvion from JMC Enterprises. John will talk to us about some recent developments in the governor's race, and it's a great show. And again, you can follow us on all those platforms and our extensive conversation with John Cuvion relative to the governor's race. We also have some other special guests that are coming up, but I'm going to save that until next week. We look forward to seeing you, and until next week, we are the Pelican Brief.
The Pelican Brief is an off-script production.